have lost sight of the fact that we are creators. People just wake up and they just let life happen to them by happenstance. And sometimes life. It does happen. But
Right.
a lot of times we create. If we are often saying things like people are like, "Oh my God, I don't even want to look at my bank account. I'm broke. I ain't got no money. I'm broke. I ain't got no money. There's no good partners out there. There's no, good jobs. There's no good people. People out to get you." Like, that's a
It's
creation,
all those are also considered
manifestations,
affirmations and
affirmations.
manifestations. Just like there are positives, there are also negatives. So when you keep saying, I don't even like saying it, but when people, I'm broke, oh, like, though, like you're going to maintain a broke mindset. When you
Right.
keep saying, oh, today's gonna be a shit day, or today's gonna be one of those days, guess what? Now you're going to have one of those days because you are allowing whatever might have happened last week at the same time to affect what could potentially happen to you today, present moment. Again, it's practice. It takes time and you have to build on it. And a lot of people are just so used to being stuck and feeling stuck, and they're comfortable in that stuckness that
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to elevate,
Your heart, keep it in your pocket for safekeeping. Don't ever let nobody be the reason.
Welcome to Dope After 40, the podcast.
Don't let your hair get in the way. Can't be defined by your mistakes. You know you're trying.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dope After 40, the podcast. I am your host, Miss Nisi Marie, and we have, as always, I just don't understand why I just can't add her to the what do you call it? I get so caught up because she's not a guest at all. We have the beautiful Dr. Leslie Becton in the house. Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, Denise, how are you?
I am doing so well, a little bit, but we'll get into it more into the show. But yeah, I'm doing pretty good. It's the holiday season. I got my little Santa behind me, my little chrysanthemums over here. How you doing? Yeah, see?
Yes.
So I'm trying to get into the spirit because Leslie, I have just not been feeling it. I have not been feeling it, and I think that was one of the reasons what prompted us to do today's episode because I think we touched base on this a little bit on the last episode. We were talking about Jeezy and Nia Long, but seasonal depression, yo, it is a
Yeah.
thing. It is a thing. And if it wasn't for you hitting me up like, "Hey, when's the next?" and I'd be like, "I don't know." You know what I be saying? Life be life, girl.
It
But yo,
does.
this time of the year, it is just it's hard. It is hard. So I am so happy to have you on today because this is definitely a topic that we need to discuss. It's not just affecting me, but it's so prevalent right now. It's affecting a lot of people, and it's not just black women, black men. It's affecting everybody, everybody. And when I dug into it a little deeper, it's not even just an East Coast thing because it's cold and it's all over. It's East Coast, West Coast, UK, Australia, you name it. So let's get into it, Les. But a little bit first, I want to say, how are you?
I
Good.
am doing well, despite some of the things that you share. I am a human
Yeah.
being, so I am also susceptible to all of the things, right?
Right.
Everything. But just we always talk about intentionality on this show.
Yes.
So just I think the things I'm going to share today, I want to impress upon people and you that we got to be intentional. So I think in my intentionality, I'm thriving in my
Yes.
intentionality.
Okay. So what does that look like? So when you say I'm thriving in my intentionality, because I'm about to get into it. I'm about to take it all from you because treat me like a client right now, Les. I need help. I'm telling you, there are some days that I don't even be wanting a mom. It just gets to a point where you're just like tired and you're like fatigued and you're feeling like bouts of hopelessness, and it's like this isn't even me. Where is this coming from? How do you stay thriving under these conditions?
Well, I think the first step is because I do understand the awareness part that seasonal affective disorder is a real thing.
Yeah.
And, I am cognizant of that. I talk to people all day, every day who don't just struggle with seasonal affective disorder, also known as seasonal depression, but they struggle with depression in general. So some of the signs and symptoms, this is what, I do every day, like encouraging people to look for the signs. And
Yep.
some of the signs are just kind of easily frustrated, irritable, not having the same energy to do the things that you love to do before, fatigue, and is a gamut of symptoms, but those are like the top noticeable ones, and you just feel like you have the blues. So very common, and like you said, it doesn't just affect a geographic location. It doesn't just affect a certain gender. Also, but keep in mind that actually Black women are more prone to seasonal affective disorder, even though
Oh
it does
wow, I didn't know
affect.
that.
Yes,
Okay.
even though it does
Okay.
affect every race and gender of people. So
Okay.
I think just kind of knowing the warning signs and having
Mm-hmm.
the awareness is like that's top.
Pretty spot
Most
on.
times
Yeah.
people don't even know that they have that as a they don't think that they are experiencing it because they don't know what it is.
This is actually a clinical diagnosis. So,
Oh yeah.
seasonal affective disorder. Can I just throw out there who was the genius that named it seasonal affective disorder, aka SAD? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that is the undertone of the entire of the overwhelming feeling that you have when dealing with this. But I did not know it was like an actual clinical diagnosis. Okay.
I think awareness is the first step, right? And the
Mhm.
second step is like once you're aware, you got to know that it's resources, it's strategies, it's tips. You don't have to suffer in silence. But I feel like people suffer because we have a hard time looking at ourselves in the mirror and we just don't
Yeah.
want the truth to be the truth. Like we don't want that to be the truth of who we are. So we like, no, I'm not depressed because most people think that depression looks very different than what me and you were just describing.
Right.
Irritable, easily agitated, fatigue,
Mm-hmm.
just having the blues, feeling like you're in a
Oversleep
funk.
for me, oversleeping, wanting to be in hermit mode, isolation. I even read a lot of people have some dark thoughts. A lot of suicidal thoughts come around this time of the year with this
Hmm.
season. So, and you know what, Leslie? What I also saw, it's not just the winter time. I saw a lot of people statistically are prone to suffering from SAD in the spring and summertime as well.
And so that's when we start kind of moving it to that more of a chronic state of,
Okay.
just it could be depression, unspecified depression, right? So that's a
Right.
step up from sad, where we
Mm,
think, sad is like, based on a particular time in the year.
got
But if
you.
it's like going on to a chronic state, then, but everybody's seasons look different. And we also have to be clear about that. Like,
Right.
also just kind of going back to the history of just ourselves and, as mammals,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, we still are animals and we still are affected by the cycles of the moon, the sun, and
Mm,
all of that. So the
right.
sun goes in, we typically would hibernate. We typically would, be cuddling or
Right.
sleep or
Yeah.
getting ready for the springtime and the summertime. But
Mm-hmm.
we, as higher order, thinking human beings, we're still expected to do what we normally would do despite the season.
Right.
So, seasonal affective disorder is like our body's way of saying, also because we have muscle memory in our brains, our minds are muscles. And our
Mm-hmm.
mind is like, oh, well, last year we got really sad. So this year, do we do the same thing?
Hmm.
So it's a muscle memory. So it's
Okay.
just like a reminder. So what I do with my clients is, we walk through a series of just kind of understanding one awareness that
Mm-hmm.
this exists. Number two, now that you have made the awareness, what are you willing to do to break the cycle of the habit of the negative thing, right? Like, so the dark thoughts,
Yeah.
just kind of isolating yourself, sleeping more, all of those things. How do you pull yourself out of it? And is resources available? But most people never get into the resources, never even look for the resources because they're constantly in phase one of denial. They don't want to, assume that they have that as a condition. And it's okay, not a big deal. You're a human being. But what are you willing to do? So are you willing to get some help? You're willing to
Right.
get some strategy, support, and all of that stuff.
Let me ask you a question. If this seasonal depression goes undiagnosed, can it then catapult into, I don't know the technical term for it, but like full blown depression throughout the year that's not just during the winter or the fall and winter months?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, very much so. Just any one of any of our behaviors, like say anxiety, depression, around the time of COVID, right? Like we were in a pandemic, so a lot of the expectations were uncertain. So
Okay.
people were kind of reacting off this uncertainty. And because of all of that, they developed symptoms of depression. They
Oh,
developed
okay.
symptoms of anxiety. But when the pandemic was over, people still had lingering effects of those symptoms. And people actually came out of COVID with full on depression, with full on anxiety symptoms. Remember, our minds do all of the heavy lifting. Our bodies are just like little robots. So, it really does what the mind says to do. That's why mindset is so key, and that's why I practice and teach mindset, because without mindset we stuck on every facet of our life.
And
So,
mindset requires a lot of discipline.
right? So, with that being said, without knowing any better, people were just in a state of fear, in a state of sadness, and they were carrying it on, even though life got back to normal at some point. They were carrying on because the body was like, we were sad for like a whole year, or we were anxious for a whole year or two
Right.
years, and we couldn't go out the house and we were afraid. So now we never stop to teach our bodies how to not be afraid, how to not respond and isolate and be, just kind of like the world is coming to an end, the sky is falling.
Right.
So
Right.
without knowing and having that conscious awareness, of course, you're going to play those symptoms out over and over and over again, because now you're just like on like a gerbil wheel.
So then let's get into it. What are some ways that we can combat sad? I just like saying sad. What are some ways we can combat this seasonal affective disorder, also known as seasonal depression?
Yeah. So from the book that I actually just put out, I got an ebook out right now because, like I said, several people, and you'll be very surprised that it affects a lot of people, specifically in my line of work, are struggling. Specifically around the holiday time, the winter months are really bad for a variety of reasons. And so I have strategies that I'm going to share with you from that particular ebook. And
Okay.
I'll share that information with you like towards the end. So if any of the listeners are interested in just grabbing a quick little toolkit to kind of just keep them out of the wintertime blues.
That would be great.
First chapter, we're starting with mindset. Like, what do you mean by mindset? Like, why am I doing mindset work? Because mindset work is the key, right? Like, if we are saying the things, most of the times when people are sad, they're saying sad things, right? And so
Or angry
sometimes
things coming out of character, lashing out. Yeah. Yeah.
on
Irritable.
everybody,
Yes.
man, woman, child is, no differentiation. They're just
Right.
in a state of, surviving, because our brains doesn't know the difference. So we talk about mindset and the importance of mindset. We talk about the importance of, like, how you're talking to yourself, what you're saying, what you're listening to, things that you need to be intentional about. we go into the wintertime toolkit. And what's in the wintertime toolkit? Well, because like melanated people, according to statistics, we have a hard time breaking down vitamin D from the sun. And so what vitamin D does, it helps to increase the receptor called serotonin in our body.
Okay.
And serotonin is like the receptor that makes us like feel good, like happy.
Yeah.
When our serotonin levels are low, that's directly correlated to us having symptoms of depression.
Oh, okay.
So when you don't get enough vitamin D, i.e., from the sun, which is impossible, because if we stood in the sun at the frequency in which we could get enough, we would traumatize our skin.
Okay.
All right. So nobody, you don't really get enough because you can't just stand in the sun all day. So what are some other things that you can do to increase, your serotonin levels? Vitamin D supplements. Game changer. They over the counter. You can just pick them up. You don't need a prescription. And vitamin D is so good for a variety of other conditions.
It's
But
that
vitamin
easy.
D,
Just vitamin D supplements can change the world. Like, it's that easy.
no,
Literally. It can change. I'm telling you.
it can change your world.
Bradley,
It can change your
it can
world.
be
Yeah.
life or death sometimes. Listen, when I said to you, sometimes don't even want to just show up for myself. That's a problem. That's a problem. And being a mom and having to not even only show up for myself, but also having to show up for my little one is that it's a game. So you're telling me all I have to do is go to
I'm
my
not saying all you have to do.
right.
But I'm
Okay,
saying that
let's
is
start.
something
Let
very
me bring it
tangible.
back because I've been to start selling these on the street, saying that's all you got to do. All right.
It's not all you have to do, but it's a
Continue.
high recommendation for someone who's struggling and just feeling like they're blah. You
Right.
know, honestly, when I talk to people about vitamin D and then like a few weeks later, I'm like, so what's going on? And even before they even tell me what's going on, they have a different affect. Like they show up more bubbly,
Yeah.
excited. Like, so what's going on? What do you think the real change was? And so I often think that it's attributed to just increasing their serotonin levels, which
Okay.
is from the support of the vitamin D supplement.
Okay.
So another
Okay.
thing in the wintertime toolkit that we talk about in the book is like people are not going outside still, right? So a lot of people are still working from home.
Right.
And a lot of people, even if they do go into the office, they are doing like a hybrid. So they're still like in their offices. They don't have like windows. So they are still not getting exposure to the sun, natural exposure to the sun. So things that you can do is like light therapy. It's different like lights that you can, put on and, not to just have the light on the whole time, but have the light on for, maybe an hour or so to just get additional
So do you
support.
recommend like purchasing a sun lamp? I even saw online that they have actual seasonal affective disorder lamps. So would you recommend getting that as well?
Yes.
Just kind of
Yes.
basking in that for like 30 to 45
Yeah, not long, not a long time, but just,
hours.
once in a while, like don't keep it running, but like that's
Right.
just something to add to your toolkit.
Okay.
Right? And then even like around the holiday times, some people are not just they're already naturally prone to depression, but some people are situationally in a depressive state because of their circumstances. Some people are away from loved ones. They maybe live in another state and they can't get to their family. A lot of people have lost family members around the time of the holidays. People are breaking up with, long-term partners. So it's a variety of reasons and circumstances that could also put someone in a state of depression.
Do you see this also? Is it more in adults or do you also see this disorder in children as well?
Well, probably more in adults, but
Okay.
let's be clear. Depression is not limited to a specific age group. Children get very much stressed out, get very much depressed, have a lot of pressures on them to succeed in school and thrive in sports and whatever it is that they're doing. A lot of children still struggle with, identity issues and being accepted by their social groups. So they
No, but
are also.
I meant primarily with the change of the season, with the seasons and children. I'm feeling like they're still outside. They're going to school. They may be basking in like whatever sunlight there is. But do you see it more the seasonal depression part of it in kids? Do you see more children coming to the office or wanting to be seen around this time of year?
I would say that I work with like I have a small percentage of children that I actually work with in my practice.
Okay.
But I would say the winter time is like the time when people in general are
Got
like
you.
flooding into practices and wanting more support and feeling like, I need somebody to talk to.
Got you. Okay.
So I'm noticing that across the board in all age brackets.
Okay. I also noticed, getting back to ways we can combat this, and things that we can do to kind of move it along, or you had touched base on the vitamin D, but I also noticed that I had saw someone say something about going to your urgent care and getting that B12 shot. What do you say about that? Is that also like another way to kind of alleviate these symptoms as well?
Well, B12 is B12. It gives you energy.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so it gives you energy, so it's going to combat that fatigue, it's going to combat that that irritable feeling, so it's doing parts of the job.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I mean, you might not be able to get a B12 shot every day, but you can take a B12 supplement. B12 gives you a lot of energy, but it does, get the heart rate up, and
For
it
more
does give
severe
you.
cases, I would say we could probably get a shot. So
Yeah, you,
basically,
yeah,
we
yeah,
need
IV
to be
drip.
very proactive with taking vitamins around this time of the year, and substantially vitamin D, B12, vitamin C, those types to kind of get us some energy and get us going, because laying in the bed all day ain't getting it.
Yeah, and then also, Denise, we got to keep in mind that as we age,
Right.
our hormones fluctuate, causing additional symptoms of depression, additional
Right.
symptoms of anxiety, additional mental health issues. So sometimes people are feeling like they're experiencing a mental health crisis. They feel like they're depressed. And guess
Right.
what's really happening? Their hormones are dropping out. So as women hit that 40 and over age, and so do men, you start seeing the guys with the beer bellies because they're losing testosterone. They're getting more estrogen. You
Right.
start seeing women who are, getting like kind of bigger in their back areas because they're losing estrogen and they're getting more testosterone.
Okay.
So these symptoms are not just like this one size fits all, or this one thing is the cause of that. It's probably a combination
Of
of a
so
variety
many.
of things.
Right, right. What do you say about it's sometimes it's cold, and like you were saying earlier, the sun can't really give us as much vitamin D as we need. But what do you say about going out and taking a walk and going, and I feel like movement. I feel like movement and exercising can also give you that pep in your step, that energy that you need. Going to the gym. I know there are different facets for men than there are for women. A man might be more, it might be more attainable for him to go to the gym, get a workout in, kind of, get his morale up, get his mood, become a mood booster. And for women, it could be something totally different, like just taking a walk out in nature. Do you also recommend that as well?
Yes, that's also in the book as a part of the wintertime toolkit, right? In the
Cool.
wintertime toolkit, what are the things that are going to keep you sane and keep you out of the blues, right? So, of course, moving around, any type of activity that's going to get those endorphins going.
Yeah.
Because remember, the endorphins are also the feel good receptors too. Like you notice that you spend 15 minutes on a treadmill or elliptical and you're not even going fast. You haven't even broke
Right.
a sweat yet.
Right.
But you notice how you just feel like happier.
Yeah, I do.
So that's a
When
part. That's a
yeah.
part of it. Like, and also being in nature. Nature is good. I mean, some people complain that it's getting cold out, so they don't. They kind of stay away from wanting to be out. But
Right.
anytime you're out in nature, just taking a walk, park the car, take a walk. That's a grounding activity. Getting you close to any form of nature is going to help alleviate a lot of the symptoms. And just having a gratitude practice, Denise, is also very important.
Yes.
I'm a firm believer of like mantras, affirmations, whatever you want to use, scriptures, quotes, whatever helps you get into a mindset. And what we also talk a little bit more about is it's not just about saying the things. It's about believing that the thing is possible.
And
Right?
that
Some
comes
people
with
say,
repetition. That's that mindfulness. That's that self-discipline. You know, like you have to make it part of your lifestyle to say these things every day, to remember to wake up every day and not the first thing to do will be to grab your phone and see what's going on in Gaza or what's going on down your timeline or things of that nature, but to kind of get one with self first. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people don't understand that aspect. They don't do that. For me, everything you said, all of the above is what I've been trying to practice and teach myself. And you have those days, those lulls where, sometimes today just ain't the day.
yeah,
Affirmation just ain't getting it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you can't stop. Won't stop, can't stop. You just can't. So affirmations, so big on mantras. I'm so big on grounding. I love going out to our waterfront. Here in Philadelphia, and just sitting out there, taking my shoes off, and just becoming one with nature, just watching the water. That's my thing. But as it gets colder, I don't have my little me moments, my little me times out there near the water. So I have to find other ways to kind of get in touch with, that softer side, that side of self care, that side of, just kind of being still and just kind of making sure that I'm okay. You know what I mean? And I know another thing that I'm big on is music. Leslie, music is healing. Music for me is life, okay? Music gives me life. When I am down, listen, I can't turn on, I don't want to hear no Drake. Mind you, I'm not a Drake. I love some Drake, but I need to hear like some Sounds of Blackness, Optimistic. I need to hear some Tony Tone, Feel Good. Like I need to hear like something that's going to get me upbeat, something that's going to make me move. I mean, maybe that's something we should put together. I think that's something we should put together is a nice playlist of upbeat, feel good music for everybody to just kind of like relate to, get them out the funk. I am so big on music, but I don't know. What about you? You
yes,
said you use
I am,
mantras. Yeah.
you are one of my, well, you're actually a Pisces, but you're a February Pisces.
Yeah.
So,
See, why do we always do that? It's
you're
only the
like an
Pisces that
Aquarius.
separate the February Pisces from the March Pisces.
It's a difference. Um, but so you're more like an Aquarius in that sense. But yeah, I love music,
Yeah.
and what I'm vibing to recently, just in terms of like frequencies, because frequencies are healing, and different, music is healing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have their reservations about Andre 3000's Flute album, but baby, it
Girl,
has spoken to my heart, and I
Les.
play it at nauseum
When I
every
say
day.
journaling, laying in the bed, that Andre 3000 flute. Listen, y'all, if you're not listening to it, you're sleeping on it.
You
You
sleep.
are sleeping on it because that is one hell. I could not. First of all, I just turned it on just to see, just to give credence, just big up to Andre for doing something different. And Leslie, by the time I knew it, I was probably on track 6 or 7, just letting it flow.
Yep.
It's such a great album. It's so good, and I'm sorry, we get off topic, but kudos to him for kind of going out the norm and doing what he felt like passionate about, because it is really good. It's up there, like you said. I listen to a lot of binaural beats. I listen to a lot of Christian, was it lo-fi or lo-fi music, just kind of like zoning out, working, doing my thing. But that Andre 3000, baby. Yeah,
Yes.
that's a good one.
So I mean, I like all kinds of music, and all kinds of music speaks to my spirit and settles me down and gets me in the right spot. And speaking of playlists, I do have a YouTube playlist that I put together called the Mindset Mastery Playlist, Dr. Leslie's Mindset Mastery Playlist.
Okay.
And it's just a bunch of YouTube video shorts, affirmations, gratitudes, just motivational speeches, all kinds of stuff, like under 15 minutes.
Okay.
And that's my jam.
I love
It's
that.
like, it's a lot of things on there, because when I listen to stuff and I like it, I just add it to the playlist.
Yeah. Is
And
it
I share
private
with
or
my
public?
clients.
Like, can we go search that? Is it private or public?
No, it's public.
It's public. Okay. Need
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Dr. Leslie's Mindset Mastery Playlist. And I mean, it's some gems on there.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, because you will hit the lows, you're a human being. You're going to hit the lows. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody running around here just, oh yeah, I'm feeling good every second of every hour of every day, right?
Right.
But when you are feeling down, I think the trick is to say, I'm going to give myself time to be in this space, but I'm not going to give myself a lot of time, right? Because what you resist about you persist about you. So if I keep, saying I don't want to be sad, I don't want to be sad, I don't want to be sad, and I keep promoting that vibration of sadness, then guess what I'm going to be? I'm going to be sad.
Oh, I
So
love
I'm going to
that.
give myself a time frame to be sad.
Okay.
Honestly, I know it sounds like, robotic, unless it's a crisis,
Yeah.
somebody is ill, somebody's hurt, like, right? But if it's just like every day, I don't really know why I'm sad, which is okay. I'm going to
Right.
give myself a time frame.
No,
And
you
then when
got to
that time
feel
frame,
into that emotion. Like when you actually try to suppress it, it does more harm than good. So you want to feel that emotion, but like you said, you got to put it has to have an
it
expiration
has to
time.
have an end date.
Exactly.
So some
Exactly.
people just go there and they stay there and they get stuck there.
Mm.
But I'm going to go there. I'm going to probably, me personally, I'm going to journal it out. I'm going to purge it. And then I'm going to figure out if it's a solution. If it's no solution, I'm just going to say, all right, in an hour, I'm going to take my life back. I'm going to set a timer.
Like that.
When this timer go off, this is my affirmation. I am going to take my life back. I'm not doing this.
I like that.
So the
Yes.
timer goes off, and it's like, I'm got to take my life back. And I got to find something new. And most times when you take your mind off the thing that was stressing you out or making you feel blue, take a nap or you do something different, look at a comedy, something that's going to, raise your vibration. Look at, listen to, some like a good video or listen to some music. That thing that you were down about, you don't feel as down.
Yeah.
And so now you actually have a solution to the problem most times. So
Yeah.
I say just kind of take your mind off of it, change the subject. Don't keep beating that same dead horse. And, just keep always feeling your way out of it. And if you can't feel your way out of it, contact somebody who can help you feel your way out of it.
Right.
Because
Right.
maybe it's not you. Maybe you need somebody else who can bring you out of that state. And that's okay as well.
Yeah. Because it sounds so easy. I mean, it literally sounds so easy. Like a snap of the finger, I can just get myself out of it. Like, but it really is one of the hardest things if you're not practicing it. Like your mind can control every single emotion, literally, and you have to be able to take it back. Like you said, it starts with mindfulness. It does. It's just that simple. And I don't think a lot of people really understand that. Like we feel like our not we feel like, but hell, our thoughts have been controlling us for decades, and now everyone's in this or trying to get in the notion or the understanding that no, I control my thoughts. I tell my thoughts what to do. I tell myself how to feel. It's a wrap. That's it. Like
That's it.
you don't own me, you know? So I think as much as we start practicing that, because it takes practice and it's gonna take time, I think we can combat, we can beat all of this.
We can.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing. Denise, we are creators. We are co-creators on this planet. Right? And so, depending on what everybody believes, God in whatever form is a creator. We co-create with God. We co-create with each other.
Right.
And if we have lost sight of the fact that we are creators, people just wake up and they just let life happen to them by happenstance. And sometimes it does happen. But a lot of times we create. If we are often saying things like people are like, oh my God, I don't even want to look at my bank account. I'm broke. I ain't got no money. I'm broke. I ain't got no money. There's no good partners out there. There's no, good jobs. There's no good people out to get you. Like, that's a creation.
Those are also considered
Manifestations.
affirmations and manifestations. Just like there are positives, there are also negatives. So when you keep saying, I don't even like saying it, but when people, I'm broke, like you're going to maintain a broke mindset. When you
Right.
keep saying, oh, today's going to be a shit day, or today's going to be one of those days, guess what? Now you're going to have one of those days because you are allowing whatever might have happened last week at the same time to affect what could potentially happen to you today. present moment. You know, again, it's practice. It takes time, and you have to build on it. And a lot of people are just so used to being stuck and feeling stuck, and they're comfortable in that stuckness that
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to elevate. You know, they don't
But
want
that's the
to
habit
get
that
out of
has
it.
been created. The
Yeah.
habit that has been created, and sometimes it's not even their own habit. It's somebody
Mm-hmm.
else's habit. It might be a parent's habit. It might be a
Mm-hmm.
care whoever the caregiver was, their partner. People are observant. They're watching somebody else, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, well, maybe I need to be like that too." So now we take on their energies, right?
Mm.
And we start repeating. And so my mom used to be sad, as an example. My mom used to be sad around the holidays, and now I am sad around the holidays, right? Because some
Right.
people we're like social creatures and we repeat what we see. And so, like I always say, you can only achieve to the level of your thoughts. You can only achieve to the level of your expectations. If you close your eyes, what do you see? You only
Mm.
see what you expect to see. So
I like that.
that's why journaling, affirming, praying, talking to people who are kind of in places where you're trying to go, all of that
Mm-hmm.
stuff is so super important because it creates a habit. And when it
Right.
creates the habit is now who you are. Now you
Mm-hmm.
can't separate yourself from the habit of you because you've been doing that thing and it's now a part of your everyday routine. It's not just this thing. So yeah, you're gonna
Right.
get sad.
Yeah,
It's
and
normal.
we talk about this a lot. My biggest thing, Les, because like you said, it's going to happen. We have to give ourselves grace because we are going to backslide. It's
Hmm.
normal. And we
Yeah.
need to understand that it is a normal thing. Do not beat yourself up. You're going to have maybe 3 out of 5 days where you got it right. And the other two, you might have just been like, today ain't the day. Just today ain't the
Listen,
day.
let me just use myself as an example. This
Mhm.
week, I killed it in terms of productivity, in terms of just kind of laying out a blueprint and things kind of just turning out the way that I expected them to.
Mhm.
And, out of a 7-day week, I was crushing it like 4 days.
Okay, drinks
But
on
you
me.
hear me?
Let's go.
I was crushing it like 4 strong days. It got crushed. But it was like the
Nice.
other 3 days were like mediocre.
Right.
But because the other, 3 days were mediocre, I didn't
Mhm.
beat myself up because I was killing it
Right.
for the rest of the
Right.
week. And
Mhm.
so it was okay. It was just like, okay, sometimes you do need that decompression time. People feel like when they're not always turned on, they're
Mm.
not always productive, that that's somehow a bad thing. Like,
Yeah.
that's not good or they're
Mhm.
not achieving their goals. Rest is a part of achieving the goal. That
Mm.
is a part of the process. You got to relax. You got to chill. You got to
Mhm.
take care of yourself because guess what? When you're calm and you quiet your mind, that's when the real, kind of conversations with the universe, conversations with God, inspiration come from.
Yeah.
My inspiration doesn't come when I'm sitting here talking to you. I don't have any new inspiration. I'm talking to you from all of the things that have inspired me prior to this conversation. I
Right.
don't have any new inspiration. I mean, me and you are in conversation, but most of the times I'm being inspired when I'm quiet and I'm not thinking
Mhm.
about anything and it just comes wham.
That reminds me of one of my favorite scriptures. Be still and know that I am God. So simple, yet so powerful. And a lot of people don't know how to be still. I
Hmm.
mean, people go back to that old adage. I don't even know where it came from. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Okay. What? I mean, I think I might have said that back in the day as a just cause, trying to give myself like a, a reason to go hard, but that's the dumbest shit I think
It's
I
dumb.
probably ever heard.
It's
I'll
dumb.
sleep when I'm dead. No. And I think a lot of people really need to adopt the sense of today was a good day. Tomorrow, if it does turns out not to be, that's okay too.
But
That's
you know
okay
what?
too.
And the other thing to add to that wintertime toolkit, because I like gratitude so much,
Mm,
is sometimes we have to just be able to say, I get to do that. I get to have the contrast of a happy and a sad day.
Yeah.
I get to have the contrast of that. Right? If I was dead, I wouldn't get to have that contrast. I wouldn't even. I'm here and I get to experience that. I get to experience the lows and the highs.
Yeah.
And it's unrealistic to assume that they're always going to be highs. But when the high comes, oh, we celebrating,
Right.
right? And when the low comes, we are anticipating that another high is coming.
Yeah.
So I really think it's all in the way that you perceive it. It's not that life is not going to knock you down. It's coming. It's going to do
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
how long do you stay down? And that's a choice. That's
Yeah.
something that
And
you
that's your
decide with
choice.
your own
You were right.
intentionality, with your own resources, tools, and making things a lifestyle. Not saying I'm going to do it one time and it's supposed to work. Dr. Leslie said I'm supposed to do it, and I just did it. I did it all week and it didn't work. Well, here's what I do want to share. Usain Bolt is the fastest person in the world, right? I mean, last time I checked. I mean, it might be
Yeah.
somebody
Oh
else.
no, I think he still holds that record.
All right, so he holds the record for running 9 seconds, like to beat the world record. He trained every day for 4 years straight to be able to run for 9 seconds. So when
That's
people
amazing.
say things like, I was doing all of the things. I took my vitamin D for a week. I took a walk every day for a week, and not to like say that that's not a good thing. That's great. That's an amazing start. But you gotta embody these things as a lifestyle in order to get the results that you're seeking. Some
Facts.
people only get 10 minutes on the floor, but they trained their whole life for it, right? He trained 4 years to run 9 seconds, no days off. And so we got to keep that in mind if this is our life.
Right.
This is our vehicle that we're in. You got to train. And that's what I'm saying to you, Denise. Every day I'm in training. Every
Yeah.
day. I'm in training for my life. I'm in training for not having those symptoms. I am a true believer that life is supposed to feel good. It is supposed to be abundant in all ways. I feel like everything you touch is supposed to prosper. But
Yes.
you see how that's my expectation. That is my expectation. So whatever I touch, it's going to be gold. It's going to
Yeah.
prosper because that's what I believe. But it was a time when I didn't have any understanding of that. And now that I am consciously aware of that, I just train. In my life, I just train.
Yeah. It's so funny because the people that you talk about that do that are the exact same people that saying, I prayed, I'm obedient. Where are my blessings? This is the exact same story, the exact same thing. And it's just like in this society that we are in now, it's like a microwave mindset. It's like, I want it now. I did it for 5 minutes. So where are my blessings? I did it for 5 minutes. Why am I still depressed? You know what I mean? And it's just like nobody wants to put the work in. Nobody wants to give effort anymore. And I'm not even talking about for anybody else. They don't want to do it for themselves, And it's just so surprising to me. But it's a hard thing, especially we're women over the age of 40. So you have over 40 years where you have to unlearn what we were taught by parents, um, society, and relearn these new tools which can help us achieve and advance into levels that we've never ever experienced before. So it's a thing of having faith with that as well. You know what I mean? Having
Yeah.
faith and understanding that things can be okay if you just let go. If you just surrender that old previous mindset, let go and just try something new, all could be well, And I think, like you said, it's a fear-based thing. It's a fear-based thing. So, but
Yeah.
Leslie, I want to thank you. I mean, this has been eye-opening for me. I, of all people, needed it. I mean, Les, you talking about having a positive mindset, girl? How many times I didn't called you and said, Les, the show, I can't. Where is the footage? And you be like, Denise, calm down. You got this. It's there. And I'm freaking out. And then 5 minutes later, everything works out. And it's things like that where you have to have people around you that's going to speak life into you in that situation and not kill the dream. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because had you said to me, God damn it, Denise, we just spent a whole hour on this episode, and it would have taken me to a whole nother place, a whole nother level of, depression or anxiety. And you just spoke life into it, which prompted me to be optimistic and to, believe that everything was going to work out. So having that mindset, being mindful, was God sent. And people need people like that in their circle. And I'm so happy I got you, lad.
I'm glad too, because guess what, Denise? You don't know what kills a dream, a big dream. What kills a big dream faster is a small mind, right? So if you were to go and talk to somebody who didn't, what I mean, you got a big dream going on here, right? And so you're like, I'm nervous about this thing, or this recording is not going as planned. You could introduce it to a small mind.
Yeah.
So these are the things you got to be cautious about. If you're already feeling blue, you got to know who your audience is. You can't just be going to go talk to the small-minded people that you know, because they're going to kill the dream.
That's right.
Right. So you got to keep that kind of stuff in mind. And also being over 40, I think, for me, I'm just tapping into my greatness. Like, I mean, like I said, I was unconsciously aware before. Like, I mean, I was unconsciously aware. I knew that there was some power. But now that I'm consciously aware, I'm not playing games. I'm going full speed ahead, and I have nothing but tunnel vision and great ideas. And so
I love that.
And I'm not going to apologize. Yeah, I'm not going to apologize for it. Amazing things are going to happen. And I just feel like everybody has a job. Everybody has an assignment. My assignment, I realized recently, is to raise the collective consciousness of anybody that I'm kicking it with. So I'm kicking it with you, and if me and you vibing on something, then I want you to always feel like you had a takeaway, and I want to be able to feel like I got a takeaway too.
Right.
So I feel like doing certain things that make you feel good. That's what you got to be intentional about this holiday season, this wintertime season. If you need some additional resources are available. Get that ebook. It's available on all my social media platforms.
Yes.
I'm, running a 30-day special with 30% off. So you could get the ebook for under $20. So simple strategies, tips, and a lot of people talk themselves out of just simple things. They'll say, who is she? Like, how is that going to help me? You don't know what's going to help you if you haven't given it a try, right? And like you said, we have to unlearn some of those things, because sometimes help is right here. It's so available, it's so close, but we think that person can't help us because of the way that they look or who we think that they are or a variety of things, right? But we got to move past some of those biases and get support. I am a firm believer of asking for help. If you need help, ask for help. That black woman superhero thing, and me and you have beat that thing to death.
Yes.
Ask for help. It is okay. And guess what? Help is always available. So you ask for something. If you have not because you ask not. You ask for something, it'll show up. But you gotta be open to ask for what you need. Write it out, make it plain, and get the help. So that's my 2 cents, Denise.
Well, I love it, Les, and I want everybody to please, I will provide the link. I will provide all of the information to go ahead and grab that ebook. It is now 30% off. You need that. It is a great resource. It is something for you to refer back to over and over again because, like Leslie says, if we're not putting in that work, it's bound to happen again next December, next November. So let's get that ebook. Let's put in the work. Let's try to combat this illness. Vitamins, water, movement, sun lamps, whatever it takes. And let's fight this depression because it doesn't even need to exist. It's so much that we can do to alleviate it and just be happy. Like, why is it so hard to be happy? It shouldn't be. So let's do what we got to do as a collective and let's get shit done. All right? Leslie, babe, thank you so much for coming on. I needed you today. I needed this. You just kickstarted my behind into overdrive. Like I'm just so hyped now. I'm at a place where like I feel unstoppable. I'm invincible. Y'all need to get y'all a friend named Les. But guys, again, thank you so much for watching. This is Dr. Leslie Becton with Mindfulness Mastery. I'm sorry, I don't want to say it wrong. Say it again for me.
Mindset Mastery Coaching.
Say it again.
Mindset Mastery Coaching.
You know what? I'm just going to say, this is Dr. Leslie Becton. Girl, that shit is like seashells down the seashells at the seashore.
Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers.
Be a damn blooper.
What? Let me say, let me say it,
I'm ready
Denise.
to say it. This is Dr. Les, thank you so much for coming on the show. Everybody, this is Dr. Leslie Becton.
Yes, Morel Community Counseling Services, and our initiative is Mindset Mastery Coaching. Check us out at dr.les_MCCS or Mindset Mastery Coaching _MCCS on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube.
Amazing, Leslie. It's always a pleasure. Guys, of course, I'm going to have her back on the show over and over and over again. I am your host, Nisi Marie. This is Dope After 40, the podcast. Until next time, we will see ya. Peace.
Peace.